11 a.m. On my way to the gym right now. I slept until 9 because that fucking matcha kept me up till 3:30 a.m. So having a late start to the day. Yeah, so I woke up like, I guess 9. I set my alarm for 9. Meditated for an hour. So till like 10:15. Ironed my shirt, packed for the day. So I'm not planning to go back home for a couple hours. So I'm gonna just go hit the sauna. And I was doing that really because like I woke up and I was still wired. I was still feeling the caffeine. Caffeine is a hell of a drug. I did not realize. It basically felt like at the times when I was a teenager or when I was in high school or in my early 20s, and I'd just get way too high. And be like high at 3 or 4 in the morning when I didn't want to be. And I think if I hadn't had those experiences, I might have freaked out a little bit. But I literally woke up with a coffee hangover or a caffeine hangover today. Shocking. But yeah, so sauna, steam room. I wanted to go to the ocean, but Metropolitan has a pool, so I'll see. Maybe I'll do that. And yeah, let's get it. One thing I keep trying to remind myself is perfectionism will kill your results. Tim told me that in like a context of dating and nightlife, but it applies so much. And probably this is one of my biggest weaknesses, waiting for things to be perfect. And then at other times I just kind of like fuck it, YOLO, and throw shit out, and I'm like, I'll iterate. But generally speaking, I think the fear of failure, especially in public, is a massive form of self-sabotage that we always have to look out for. And this topic came to mind as a result of me speaking with Lewis, one of my very good friends, and he talked about having met Jake Paul or Logan Paul, one of them, and who is it? Oh, by the way, I'm next to La Sagrada Familia. But in Mr. Beast, they were launching their some product, like their new Lunchables product or something. Anyway, launching Lunchables. And he said that he realized there's really no difference between those guys and us. They're just regular guys, they're not made out of gold or anything like that. But they just took risks. They're risk takers. So they didn't wait for things to be perfect. They put themselves out there. I'm sure if you look at Mr. Beast's first videos, they were shit. But, risk taking, even imperfect execution over a long period of time and iteration will get you where you're going. And that's something I need to remember. So, yeah. Food for thought. Oh, wow. I am energetically, I'm just like buzzing. It's probably because of the caffeine. I just finished talking to Tim for about an hour, and we had a good conversation, caught up about a lot of the stuff I've been talking about on here over the last few days, over the last week. He came back to from the States to Hungary he went for his sister's wedding. And, he's back on the grind. It's good. He's a good friend to have. It's motivating because in my head, I'm always like, well, if Tim's doing it, why can't I do it? So he pushes himself, he pushes me, I push myself, I push him, and we hold each other accountable. So that's good. We talked a lot about sort of a lot of the social, not even dating, like social questions or topics or things in my head lately. And it was good to hear his perspective, which he didn't really say much, and mostly just listened to me. But he sort of reflected a lot of what I had been saying to me. He challenged me on one or two things, but he was generally in agreement. So that was cool. He also told me that I have, because I told him, I feel I'm not very photogenic, and he said, which was funny. He said that no, that's entirely in my head that I am, that I take up space in the camera well, like my energy, I guess, comes across well in the camera. I'm not the classic male model, let's say. I don't have like the handsome male model face, but I have a more or less average face, and I'm fine, and it's in my head. So we talked about the concept of addiction to losing, and which is just to speak of forms of self-sabotage that we engage in to prevent us from achieving our goals. Great theme topic from RSD Tyler, aka Owen Cook. And we talked through the business, so like the positioning that I decided I'm going to take. I think there's something there, because I've been telling people I do design and dev work for a year, and it's not really mattered. And then today, the first person I said, I help growth stage fintech startups de-risk their engineering operations. I was like, what? Dude, sit down, I gotta talk. And he just like walked me through, was like, you have to talk to our CTO about this client that we have potentially, and all this kind of stuff. So it's like, it's good to know, like, Philip Morgan, your shit works. So yeah, I spent today working on updating the copy on the marketing copy on the website, like services offered. I came up with a spectrum that goes from these are dates, because I picked some up. They don't taste that great because I ate gum before I had a bite, but that's neither here nor there. Gyoza bistro, but fuck, what was I saying? Also, I guess I shouldn't be eating on a vlog. Apologies. But anyway, yeah, he said, you have to talk to our CTO. Which, I was like, that's interesting. So there's something there. Philip Morgan shit works. Yeah, so I was working on the marketing page, the copy, and like really the service offerings. And I came up with a spectrum, as I said, from sort of like more generalized to more standardized to more customized, and it went from more standardized would be something like an audit, best practices audit, to slightly less would be monitoring and observability build out and introduction of best practices. Slightly less would be, and this is not really something that's in my wheelhouse, so I guess I'm not going to offer it. But in theory, slightly less would be like load testing, benchmark testing, performance testing, penetration testing, those sorts of things, It is good in terms of asymmetry of work to effort, of work and effort, to reward. It's not, at least from my understanding of it, it's not like something like software development where you have to do a 9-month project to deliver value. It has a bit more of a fixed and clear scope of work, but because that's outside my wheelhouse, it's something that I, as an independent consultant, I'm not really sure I could offer right now. But if I decide to build out the agency with full-time, if I see an opportunity for it in the market and I decide to build out the agency with full-time employees as opposed to building my network of contractors, then yeah, there could be something there. We'll see. And then beyond that, refactors and migrations. I think that's the real bread and butter, right? That's where there's a lot of complexity, and that's what most people need help with. And that's what I've done. I've done a few of those. And also, I think migrations and refactors are honestly where I'm best at, in a way. I can do greenfield work. I mean, I've built greenfield systems and products. But I love taking shit apart and building it back together. And I've always loved it. So there is something there. And then, again, least custom. Oh, I guess you could argue that they are most customized. Although I guess you could argue it's as customized as the last category of migrations and refactors. I just feel migrations and refactors have more clearly defined end states. But there's obviously overlap, and even sometimes this category is the same, or can be seen as the same as the other. And then the last category is what I said, greenfield work, right? So custom software development, building one-off solutions, building prototypes, building MVPs, that sort of thing. And sometimes the migration is from an old system to a new system that doesn't exist. So yeah, of course, there's overlap. And I think that's a good framework to think of in terms of the levels of effort, required to deliver value to the client. And as a result, that's a good starting point, I would say. The main thing, again, is like sort of that dynamic between an advisory role and an implementer. Because I do like implementation. And I think you implement to reinforce, to gain and reinforce expertise. So that'll be interesting to see. I think I even do want it. My first few projects are likely going to be sort of these implementation style things. We'll see as things go along. I'm not going to say no to an opportunity, even if it feels scary. But yeah, so that's where things are. And now I'm going to this networking event for entrepreneurs in Barcelona that I've been to a few times, the Tuesday night one. So let's see how that goes. Cheers.